Hey guys, so here bringing you another episode of League Discussion. This is the series that I take a topic, rip it apart with my own opinions and experiences, and encourage you guys to join in the conversation in the comments section below. Now, before we get into today's topic, just two quick things. First thing is that gameplay on the channel is going to resume very quickly. I'm just playing catch up at the moment. Obviously, just got back yesterday, and I do have a bit of university work to do. But there will be gameplay coming up. I'm thinking I'm playing ranked 5s with Fire and Foxtrot later today. I will be recording it, so expect that content soon. And then the second thing, just a quick announcement. If you haven't, please go subscribe to my second channel, Huzzy IRL. Getting that going back again and going in with the fitness series of, me getting back in shape. And if you're interested in that, go subscribe. It will be linked down below as well. Okay, today's topic we're going to be covering is champion pools. I have covered it in the past, but it seems it's a topic that a lot of people always want to talk about. And, a lot of the time on YouTube, people don't really search back in a channel's history. They just kind of want new content. So I thought I'd just do another league discussion about the topic. So today's video, we're going to be basically covering the benefit of having a champion pool. Or firstly, what is a champion pool? Because some people may not know. But what is a champion pool? The benefits of them. One-trick ponying versus having a champion pool, how big your champion pool should be, and then when should you change your champion pool? A lot of people get stuck in that kind of concept of, do I remove champions or do I add champions? When do I do that? So we'll be talking about that as well. So to begin with, what is a champion pool? Basically, in a nutshell, it's League of Legends at the moment has, 140 champions or something around that number. You're not going to be playing every single one of these champions. You may play a lot of them, but what you should be basically doing, if you're serious about going high in ranked, is condensing a pool of champions that you personally play to a good level. Now, in my opinion, your champion pool should consist of champions for every single role in the game, if you do want to be a decent solo queue player. But obviously next season, Season 6, sometime in the season, they are introducing a brand new system that basically you pick 2 roles to go into ranked. So in theory, your champion pool could only consist of top and mid laners, and you'll be completely fine because you'll never have to play another role. But still, in my opinion, I rate a good League of Legends player as somebody that plays everything. And yeah, it could be 1 or 2 champions per role, but you still can play at that role. Now, secondly, the benefits to having a champion pool are fairly, I think, basic. You just know these champions to an extended knowledge. You know how to play them better. You know their matchups more. You know their item builds. Therefore, you can play better on these specific champions instead of having 100 champions that you play and you don't really know a lot of, about them at all. Yeah, very basic for me. You'll go higher in rating if you have a champion pool that are consistent and you continue to play them again and again and again. And it can be kind of a big champion pool. My champion pool at one stage was probably about 60 champions, which in my opinion is a bit too big, but you can do it. If you have a condensed champion pool, learn them very well, hey presto, you'll probably go higher in rating. Now, the thing with the whole one-trick ponying versus champion pool argument, so let's get into it. So one-trick ponying, if you have no idea what that means, it basically is you only play one champion. Very basic, you are one-trick pony. The pony that you're riding only does one thing, and that is play, example, Rengar or Riven. They only play Riven, they only play Rengar. That's a one-trick pony. Versus people like me that has a champion pool. It's controversial what I say, but I don't rate one-trick players as good League of Legends players. I rate them good as in whatever they're playing. The example I've always given is Boxbox. I don't rate Boxbox as a good League of Legends player. I rate him as a good Riven player. Bit of a difference. Some people will care about it, some people won't. Some people just want the shiny the badge of ranked. Someone like me that plays tournaments occasionally, to be a one-trick pony is basically suicide because you're just going to get banned out. Even if it's not a very strong champion. Again, a good example I can give, there used to be a Fiddlesticks one-trick pony player in the UK esports scene. A very good Fiddle player, one of the best in the world, but everybody just banned Fiddle against him. It was pointless him playing Fiddle, and you know what he's done for the past, I think, 2 seasons? He doesn't play Fiddlesticks solely anymore. He's expanded his champion pool because he was practically useless in tournaments. So there you go. And also, one thing to say about one-trick ponies, especially in like a tournament type thing, sometimes even my team, we let the person have their one-trick pony champion, but we just knew that they were going to play it, so we knew how to counterplay it. It's very predictable that, if they're a Shaco one-trick pony, it's very predictable how to play against a Shaco in a tournament. You just have increased communication and ward everywhere, and it doesn't really make him useful. That's basically what you can do against one-tricks. In solo queue, one-tricks are a bit more useful than in tournaments because obviously people don't know you, but the higher rating you go, they tend to get banned out. You know, Rengar at the moment as a champion is not an amazingly strong champion. No, he's pretty good, but not really ban-worthy in most ratings. When I'm on my main account in mid to high diamond, Rengar's banned nearly every game, and so is Riven, because these two champions are crazy one-trick pony champions, and if you ban their champion away, they're practically useless, and they'll rage or they'll quit. That's basically one-trick ponies in a nutshell for me. Now, champion pool players, to me, they're the actual players of League of Legends. You know, if they need to go, they can main mid lane, and yeah, they'll play mid lane, great, that's their main role. But if they have to play AD carry, if they have to play top or jungle or support, they will. And they'll have a couple of champions there just in case if they have to play them. And in my opinion, I don't think I've ever said this phrase before because I kind of thought of it last night. A good League of Legends player to me uses their main role to climb rating. So say you're in Diamond 5, you're a top lane main, you get to Diamond 3 by using top lane. You've climbed to Diamond 3 using top lane. But if you have to play mid or jungle in any other, one of the other roles, you can play it to a decent level that you're currently in. So use your main role to climb the rating, but once you're at a rating that's good, you can play all the roles just in case. That to me is a definition of a good League of Legends player. Now let's move on to when should you kind of change your champion pool, all that type of thing. So it's a thing that a lot of people struggle with, especially when they kind of get connected and bound to a champion a bit too much. This especially happens to one-trick pony players. You know, if you say anything against their champion, they'll kind of rage out because they love that champion so much. You know, if I said Shaco is a useless champion, in the comment section of videos, you'll have all Shaco one-trick ponies speaking against me because that's just what they are. They have such an emotional connection to that champion, so if they have anything bad against that champion or hear anything bad, they'll react. The thing with champion pool players is you have to make sure you don't actually have a connection too much like a one-trick pony. For example, me, I love Lee Sin. Many of you guys know he's my most played champion for the past 3 years. Definitely my favourite champion of all time. But I will only play him when I actually think he's strong in the meta. I don't have the connection that I'm only going to play Lee Sin or I'm going to play him all the time. I realise that sometimes he's very strong, like right now, or sometimes he's weak. And when he's weak, I'm not going to play him. I move on. So my champion pool usually consists of about 20 to 30 champions, and it swaps and changes all the time. I used to actually keep a list on my desktop that I had all the champions that I currently played in the meta, but because I haven't really been playing on my main account a lot this season, I don't actually have a defined champion pool anymore. And in Season 6, before the season actually starts in the next few weeks, I'll actually be doing that video of me making my own champion pool and giving my reasons. In top lane, it's always good to have a tank, a bruiser, a damage dealer, hyper carry. Having like one of everything in each role is also a really good idea. But as long as you realise that don't have a overly emotional attachment to a champion, just so you can drop them at any time and pick something else up. You have to remember there are 140 champions in League of Legends, and very few of them I would actually call completely unique. If you like one champion, there is probably another champion out there that is similar in gameplay. Get an example off the top of my head. Lee Sin has basically every bit of fun of League of Legends for me personally. Champions that are similar to him, and here's the word similar, Jarvan is similar to him. He has the travel technique, he has the knock-up thing like Lee Sin's kick, similar. Vi, another champion that is fairly similar. These bruiser AD champions that have knock-ups, that have a travel mechanic, is what I could play instead of Lee Sin if Lee Sin is currently weak. That's the kind of thing that I would recommend doing. Now, moving on to the point that I mentioned briefly just a minute ago, having a notepad on your desktop, in my opinion, is a really good idea. Now, some people would think you shouldn't forget what your champion pool is, and no, that is true. But to me, you should have a priority list. And priority lists, I think, are fairly important. Now, you can arrange this priority list any way you want. So you have your champion pool, let's say, of 20 champions, and it's broken down into each role. So top, jungle, mid, AD carry, support. You have 3 champions in each role, for example, and you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. You, in my opinion anyway, you should actually have a priority list on these champions within these roles also. Now, that priority list could be this is simply your strongest champion in that role and you want to win as many games as possible. It could be this is a strong champion of yours, but you want to learn a little bit more about it. You want to just play it a little bit more. So number your champions within their roles, and that actually allows you to be quicker in champion select, be more decisive in champion select, because so many people get confused and randomly pick a champion they don't even play sometimes, or they're not very good at. Now, the final point I want to kind of make, and it's not really a harsh one, but it's one that people really need to realize is, should you even be playing the champions you should are currently playing? So whenever, I'm in the loading screen, you guys have watched the Unranked to Diamond series example, and any other commentaries that I do, and we look in the loading screen. If I see somebody's played over 50 games of a champion and they have a negative win rate and a bad KDA, in my own head I'm thinking, why are they continuing to play that champion? They're clearly not very good with that champion. Now this is something you're personally going to have to do. You're going to have to think about yourself. But if you have that one champion, like, I love playing that champion, but I'm just not very good at it, go play it in normals instead of ranked. Go practice a little bit more. Personally, for me, it was Yasuo. I love Yasuo as a champion. I find him very fun to play. But after about 15 games of playing him, my win rate was terrible. My KDA was negative. So I was like, okay, I'm going to not play Yasuo anymore. And I accepted that. I moved on. This is why I say don't have overly emotional attachments to champions in League of Legends, because it always makes it for a bad thing, usually. So yeah, just do that yourself, and the very basic way to do that, go on any of the websites like LOL King, LOL Skill, or anything like that. Look at the champions that you're like, should I be playing it, yes or no? And just look at your stats. Do you have a win rate that's positive? Is your KDA bad? Is your average gold per game low? All these type of things can help you decide. And if you just kind of prioritize over, well, there's one of two things you have to do. If you want to have more fun than be higher in ranked, then go play anything you want. That's your, it's your video game, play the way you want. But if you want to be as high rated as possible, you really need to define a champion pool that can actually get you to high rated. Now, my biggest advice I also have to give is don't listen purely to tier lists that people do. I, for one, don't really enjoy tier lists. Yes, I'll only play champions that are in meta, but within that, it's very, champions are relatively even when they're in meta. They're always useful. They're always strong. So in my opinion, you should look at what champions are in meta and don't tier list them. You should be like, right, I like playing that champion and that champion. A good example to me at the moment is top lane. Mundo is an absolute beast in top lane. I do enjoy playing Mundo, but I enjoy playing other things than Mundo. I'm not going to solely play Mundo just because he's the strongest at the moment. I'm going to play Alawi, even though she's not amazing. I'm going to play her over Mundo because I simply just enjoy playing her. That kind of thing you also have to think about, because in my opinion, you actually play better on champions you're having fun on rather than champions that just are OP. But that's going to be it for today's video. Once again, I will say sorry for no gameplay over the past, over a week now, I think. But life's been very busy. I went away and now I'm back. So I'm playing catch up as well as university work. And also hitting the gym and all that type of thing once again. Which, again, the first episode of HuzFit will most likely be on the 1st of January. Maybe. Or the Saturday. When is the Saturday? The Saturday is Friday the 1st. So it might be Saturday the 2nd. But that's going to be it. So subscribe to the IRO channel. Like the video if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.